This is normally the time of year when I start to go crazy along with all of the other Halloween enthusiasts out there because Halloween merchandise is hitting the shelves and our favorite home goods stores are starting to get the Halloween stuff in, and it's a very exciting time of year. However, over the years, a feeling of discomfort has been building within me, and I really want to actually allow myself to delve into that this year, as I imagine I'm not the only one who is feeling it. I want to talk about how our love of Code Orange also puts us directly in touch with our hyper-consumerist culture and the overproduction and environmental impacts that come along with all of that. If you've never been to this channel before, hello, my name is Julian and this is The Haunted Haven. This is a channel dedicated to Halloween candles and some witchy ritualistic things as well. This year I really want to allow myself to delve into that contradiction and really kind of flesh it out. Don't get me wrong, I am not saying that the solution to this is that we don't go Halloween shopping ever again. That is not realistic. However, I do want to actually go into and delve into the negative side effects, my own personal stories, and to, just kind of examine more. Okay, we know the fun, we know the excitement. What are the negatives here, and what do we do about this? For those of you who are less familiar with this term, though I'm sure everyone is at least somewhat familiar, Code Orange is the name, the term in the Halloween hunting community when all of the Halloween items start appearing on shelves, and so people start alerting Code Orange, and it creates this type of hysteria. It creates this kind of FOMO feeling and this panic. This is particularly true with YouTube creators or with TikTok, Instagram creators. We suddenly feel this rush to get out there and start filming all the stuff getting on the shelves. Yes, it's exciting. The good part about this is it's exciting. It gives us a sense of community, and people who love Halloween, we all get excited about it and we feel like we belong to something and our time of year is coming, and we really feel this anticipation for what we love, which is Halloween and fall. The dark side of this is that it creates this feeling of FOMO, and it leads to focusing the Halloween season on products and consumption. And this is by and large, overconsumption is by and large a big problem in our society to begin with. Halloween kind of gets wrapped up in that as well, and we see the emergence of things like viral items or must-have items this season. Those types of ideas are applied to the Halloween industry as well. As I've gotten more and more into Halloween content creation over the years, I've noticed that this feels to me like an unhealthy thing and an unhealthy pattern, and is not actually why I love Halloween at all. And so while I do love being a part of the community and being part of the excitement, I have found myself kind of being a little bit perturbed by this idea that enjoyment of Halloween necessarily, or the sharing of Halloween necessarily kind of evolves around this consumeristic attitude. To make the point even more clear, I'm going to talk about overconsumption and why it is bad for, one, the environment, and two, our wallets. When things are mass produced and shipped out, there are a lot of environmental costs associated with that in making the stuff, shipping the stuff, getting it out to the stores, and eventually having that stuff be probably wasted, a lot of it. According to some online sources, as many as 35 million Halloween costumes are just thrown out to the landfill. A lot of them contain plastics and petroleum products, and those things are not easily biodegradable. I'm going to go ahead and extrapolate here and say that there's probably a large number of Halloween decoration items that are also thrown into the landfill. They don't get sold in the store. They're not kept year after year. Now, I don't have statistics and numbers on this, but based on what I know about how production and consumption and waste happens in this country, I really would wager to say that a large amount of Halloween merchandise just goes to waste every year. I touched on the carbon emissions that happen to get these products to the store, but a second round of carbon emissions that's happening is all of us consumers, and I will point out particularly myself and other Halloween YouTube, Instagram, whatever, content creators who are going out in our vehicles to go seek the stuff in the stores. Now, if you live in a city, this is a little bit different. If you have access to public transportation, buses, trains, what have you, that can get you to your destinations, your carbon emission footprint is going to be a lot less. But for those of us who are driving in single passenger cars, we are bringing an entire car around, and I'm calling myself out on this as well, because I did this last year. We're bringing an entire car around just to go out, film a thing about, these stores, find Halloween stuff. When you really look at it, we're wasting a lot of fuel and putting a lot of carbon into the air. This feels like even more of a contradiction to me when I really think about what Halloween means to me. When I think about what Halloween means to me, it is a season that is about a reflection on nature. It's about death, it's about the darkness coming back, it's about all of us turning inwards to reflect on our own mortality, our own eventual death. And for me, it really highlights our need to turn to that which is greater than us. We don't have control over death. We don't have control over the sun, the coming back of the darkness. All of this stuff is so much bigger than us, and we just kind of have to take it. And it's a funny thing to think about, wondering if our consumerism is a way to try and feel like we have a little bit of handle and power in our world. There's so much stuff happening that we can't control, and we can just buy some things and kind of pacify ourselves. That's a tangent that I won't really go down, but it is a funny thing to kind of ponder and think about. I felt the need to interject here and underline that this really is a contradiction for me, because I love stuff. I love collecting Halloween stuff, and stuff makes me happy. What I'm trying to get at for myself and put out in this video is that there is a line between stuff that makes us happy and objects that make us happy to have around, and overconsumption, buying things that we don't need, and they don't really cross super far into that boundary of, wow, this really enhances my life and really makes me happy. I'm trying to work out where that line is for myself and put that forward in this video. So yeah, I'm not anti-stuff. I'm not saying don't have stuff, okay, before anybody comes for me for that. No, I'm just trying to kind of work out this contradiction, this line, and this confusion. I'm gonna give an anecdote here about one of the items that I was really looking for so badly last year. These little soda pops came out from DW Candles last year, and if you're familiar with this channel, I am a Halloween candle nut. So these came out and I just went crazy, and I decided that I needed to find them all. So I made it my mission to try and collect all of the little tiny soda pops you can see right here. They're so cute, they're adorable, but this one was elusive. This one was the one that I could never quite get. How much driving did I do? To how many stores? I think I must have checked, oh my God, I think I must have checked right up until the end of October, driving around, when I finally found this one. And you can just imagine, if I'm going 15 minutes in that direction, and 15 minutes in that direction, and 15 minutes in that direction, how many times every week or couple of weeks. I mean, that's a lot of driving to just complete a set for just a couple of Halloween candles. And do I love them? Do I think they're adorable? Yes, absolutely, I love them. But here's the other thing. Is it worth, it's kind of selfish. I feel pretty silly and a bit embarrassed explaining this story to you, because when I think about it, it's kind of selfish what I did, right? I drove all over, I wasted a lot of gas, just to kind of find these silly objects. So I think that that's my goal and my aim moving forward, is to really try and think more about, what does this object really truly mean to me? Is it worth it for the planet to be doing all this, Is it worth it for my fellow humans, the amount of carbon that I'm putting in the air trying to find these things? So just trying to think more in a global and more community-oriented way about this stuff. So another area that I think we need to think about in doing our Halloween shopping is our own personal finances. And the virality of this stuff can really lead us to do impulse spending and over-purchasing. So we might see something in the moment and think, well, I've got to grab it now because it might not be here later. We can fall prey to that kind of thinking and buying more stuff than is necessary. When it comes down to it, at the end of the day, that's marked as a sale. And that's marked as a, hey, people bought this stuff, so the stores will create more along those lines the next year. Our consumption patterns directly relate to the production patterns. So it's really important for us to think about all of that. I want to talk about the creator on Instagram called Notebook of Ghosts, and she has made a lot of really really interesting posts about the need to kind of pull back on the Code Orange thing. One of her posts said something along the lines of, don't use statements like viral item or run, don't walk. And I really like those guidelines. Another thing that this creator has done has been to make posts about anti-hauls. So like, hey, things that I saw at the store that I didn't end up buying. And I think that that's another good thing to do is to kind of take note of, I saw this thing, but I decided to not buy it. And I think what this really does for us is it allows us to see, you know what, okay, yeah, I really liked that thing, but can I live without it? Yeah, absolutely. Is it worth running around and wasting a lot of gas and like kind of inconveniencing the rest of the world in that way in the future generations just for this one little item? Like, probably not. You know, it just so, yeah, I like her posts a lot because she does put things into perspective in that way. I'm gonna go ahead and link her bio below in the description of this video, so go and check out Notebook of Ghosts. Now that I've laid out a bunch of the things that I see as problematic with Code Orange, I'm going to talk about my shift this year and what I think I want to do, try and do a little bit differently. I have a lot of trouble with this as a content creator because frankly, I do enjoy going out to the stores. Like the act of going and filming the shelves, it actually can be quite fun to see all of the Halloween stuff burst forth and emerge. It can be quite fun. So it does kind of pain me to feel like I need to pull back from that. However, like I said, we can't just be living as if this is a completely harmless thing. We have to really take accountability for this. So I think the question for me and in my channel is, how do I participate in Halloween excitement without feeling like I'm contributing to this kind of crazy hype that is actually, I think, not so great for the world. So as far as purchasing goes, purchasing items, I made this kind of pact with myself last year as well, so I'm going to try and stick with it again. Only purchasing items that I really think that I'm going to love and actually use. And I really want to take stock of my inventory and see, okay, what do I already have? And what do I actually feel like I could use versus like, what am I just picking up just to pick it up? There are these two pillows behind me that I will say I got last year and I adore them. I've slept with this pumpkin like all year long and the ghost just gives me a lot of joy every time I look at it. So it is possible to make these purchases and to really love them and to use them and for them to bring value to your life. But I think we just need to be discerning about, okay, what's a purchase like this where this brings value to my life, I love it so much, and what's something that I'm just buying to buy or buying because it's viral. Another thing that I'll just bring up again is the concept of just because I missed out on an item doesn't mean that my enjoyment of Halloween is going to be any less this year. I can move on. You know, loss is a part of life, disappointment's a part of life. This is all stuff that we can get over. It's just stuff at the end of the day. And one thing that I will say on this, finally, as a creator in the Halloween sphere, when it comes to candles, I am probably going to cover that. I'm absolutely going to go to Yankee Candle, absolutely Kringle Candle, 100%. The reason that I'm going to keep on doing candle stuff is because it does really give me a lot of joy. I love it so much. Yeah, I just love it so much. And candles are consumables. They are something that I burn through, I use. They bring a lot of joy to my life. I think we just need to be more conscious of what really brings us joy versus like what are we just doing to go after to chase the feeling of newness and virality, consumerist hype, basically. And for anybody out there who is wondering how to code orange in a more environmentally friendly way, thrifting is always a great option. Going to the thrift store and seeing what's there. Again, I would argue don't buy things just to buy them. Only buy things if you really think you're going to use them. If it's going to end up in your garbage anyway, yeah, definitely just save that for somebody else who may not actually throw it away. Final thoughts, my friends. I would like to ask you, what do you think? What do you think of Code Orange? The hysteria around it, is it hysteria? Am I being a little bit too harsh? If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you would give it a spooky like, and if you would consider subscribing to the channel. I'd love to have you here. We're going to be doing so much more Halloween and Summerween as things continue. Another huge aim of this channel is Halloween candles, so if you're a Halloween candle enthusiast, this is a great place for you as well. Thanks so much for sticking around. Let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll see you real soon.